Mrs. Tubbs has been successfully weaned to an SIMV rate of 4. We have placed her on pressure support with a PEEP of 5 and pressure support of 5 and an FiO2 of 35%. Um, After an hour being on these settings, we're going to obtain weaning parameters. Weaning parameters are things like spontaneous tidal volume, which is what Mrs. Tubbs can, the volume of air Mrs. Tubbs can breathe on her own without the assistance from the ventilator. It should be 6 to 8 milliliters per kilogram. So for Mrs. Tubbs, who is 50 kilograms, it should be 300 to 400 milliliters approximately. We're also going to take a look at her respiratory rate. Normal is 12 to 20. If it gets more than that, it's probably because she's getting anxious. We're also going to take a look at the Tobin index, which is a calculation of the frequency and the tidal volume. And it can predict whether your patient will do well extubating and whether they will have to be reintubated. The Tobin index should be less than 100, and with the values that I got from Mrs. Tubbs, with her spontaneous tidal volumes and a normal frequency of like 20, her Tobin index should be around 30, which is a good number. We're also going to need to obtain a vital capacity, which is we're going to have Miss Tubbs take the deepest breath in that she can and then blow it out, and that's called a vital capacity. It should be 10 to 15 milliliters per kilogram, which for Mrs. Tubbs would be about 500 to 750. We're also going to check a NIF, or a negative inspiratory force. It measures her respiratory muscle strength. Basically, we're going to have her take a really deep breath in, but it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be like sucking through a straw really hard. Usually to be extubated, it has to be more negative than negative 20. And lastly, we're going to look at her non-invasive oxygenation through her pulse ox. Because she has COPD, we're okay with lower numbers, like low 90s would be good. We're also going to look at her carbon dioxide values through her carbon dioxide detector on her ET tube. It should be 55 to 65, just like the arterial blood gas.